Hi, I'm Kayla Valdez, and my project is based on my database for hotels. Let me go ahead and open up SQL Developer and have that already loaded. Let's start off here with the main menu. In the main menu, let me open this up. In the main menu, we have a search button, an edit room button, an add room button, and an exit button, as well as a menu strip and a titles main menu. Let's go ahead and go through the code for the main menu. It's very straightforward. For each of the corresponding buttons, we have a form search.show, me hide to hide the current form. For the insert button, we have a form insert.show, me.hide to show the insert form and hide the current form. For the button edit, we show the edit form and we hide the current form. And for the exit, we just use me.close to close the current form. The rest of the code on the bottom is for the menu strip. Each form has a menu strip with the corresponding options. For example, main menu has the option for all three forms and to exit. The search form has add room, edit room, and exit, and a main menu button right here. And the edit room would have an add room and an insert room, no, an add room and a search room and an exit button, but not a search room. The search room form search, has these 6 fields: room number with a corresponding text box, electronic safe with a label that looks like a text box, clock, Wi-Fi, TV, and hot tub, all with corresponding labels that look like text boxes. It has a button to return back to the main menu, it has a button to search the database, and it has a button to clear. Let's go ahead and look at the code real quick. At the beginning of the class for the form search, I assign the connection string to a value, which is this value right here, to connect to the database. Then I go ahead and associate the connection string with the connection object. Here is the menu button. Here you can see I have a form menu.show to show the form and close the current form. Under the form search load, I have it to automatically set focus to the text box for the room number. For the form search, if you click on the form, it will select all of the text. For the button search, I am searching the database for the variables that the user inputs. So I go ahead and declare the variables to store the info into the database. So I have 5 strings for the save, clock, Wi-Fi, and TV. Here I go ahead and open up the connection. Here I use this statement to search the database. As you can see, I am selecting the room number, the electronic safe, alarm clock, Wi-Fi, TV, hot tub, from, and then room amenities, where room number equals txt roomnum.text. That is the value that the user is going to enter, and that is how I retrieve the rest of the information. Here I had to pay attention to the types to make sure I put the appropriate data type. For example, for the text room number.text, I had to put a get double instead of get string. Same with all the other forms. At the end of the while loop, I assign the info that was passed into these string variables into the labels. So once the application retrieves the information, it assigns the information it got from the database into the strings and to the text box, and right over here it goes ahead and displays these string values in the labels. Here I go ahead and close the connection and set focus back to the text room number. The rest of this code right here is for the menu strips, and on the very bottom I have the code for my button clear. It goes ahead and clears the text box as well as the labels and sets focus back to the text box. Let's go ahead and see if this form works. The search button. Let me type in room 24. and you can't see it, but it says it's 24, and here it says yes, 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 yes. One problem I've been having with this project is because of the resolution on my laptop, the form comes out in a different size, or the labels come out in a different size, but they all have the same size here in Visual Basic. I can go ahead and show you that right here. Here for the text box, room num, I have a size of 231,49, and for the electronic safe label, I have the size of 231,49. So they all have the same size, but for some reason on my laptop, they appear in different sizes. Let's go to the next form real quick. The edit room. Here in the edit room, I have 3 buttons, one that links back to the main menu, one that searches the records, and one that saves the information you input. Here it has the form's title, edit room info, the corresponding data for the room info table, the room number, type number, total max people, queen beds, king beds, available, date available next, date available until. The code for this form, let's go ahead and go through it. Just like in the other form, I declared and assigned the connection string, but in this one I go ahead and also declare a string variable right here, dbl edit room. That way I go ahead and retrieve that information that is input here and use it right over here in the search statement. I associate the connection string with the connection object. For the button main menu, I go ahead and do a form menu.show and a me.close to close the current window and show the main menu. For the button search, after clicking on the search button, which is this button right here, I have it to display an input box, prompting the user to please enter a room number. After that code, I go ahead and open the connection. I declare the query search statement to search the database for a record with the matching room number that the user inputted. I prepare the command. Here, again, I had to remember to change the appropriate data types, dr.double, dr.string, dr.getValue for the dates with a .to upper at the end. And right here, what I'm doing is assigning the values to the text properties of the corresponding text box. That way the user sees the value retrieved from the database in the text box, and right after the while loop, I enable all of those text boxes. That way the user can not only see the information, but also be able to click on it and edit the string. I went ahead and closed the connection and set focus back to the text room number box. On the Save Edit button, I declare all the variables, dbl room number, dbl type number, dbl total max people, and then in the try catch statement for the error handling, I go ahead and assign the text value of the text box to the appropriate variables with the appropriate types. So right here for a dbl room number, it equals convert to double and in parentheses txt room number dot text, and I go ahead and do that for all the variables. Make sure I convert it to C string or C double. Right here is the statement that updates the database. It uses the where condition to update the correct number. Right here you can see room number equals and then the parameter semicolon edit room number. So this edit room number right here is what the user inputs. Here I open the connection and add the values to the appropriate columns. So it's cmd.parameters.add, and then in quotations I put the column name. For example, the first one's room number, and then I put end quote, comma, dbl room number. That dbl room number is the variable we assigned up here and has the value that's in the text box, we're throwing that back into the database, and it is saving it. Once the data is saved to the database and the text box for the room number keeps that text in it right here, you can see I'm putting txt room number.text equals dbl room number. So after all this is added to the database, you can still see the room number that you edited, but all the other text boxes are going to be empty. And right down here, I am setting the enabled property to all the text boxes to false. At the end of the catch statement, I have the message box that will show if an error occurs, and then right on the bottom of that, I close the connection and I set focus back to the text box. The rest of the code down here is for the menu strips, and that is the entire code for the edit. Let's go ahead and run this form. Edit room. Let's click search records. Let's enter room 24. Okay. And I get that information right there. Let's go ahead and open up the SQL developer. Let's go to tables, and I believe this one is the room info table right here. Data. You can see where's 24 right here. Number 24 has a type of 3, total max people 4, queen beds 2, king beds 1. Let's go ahead and change this type to 4 and king beds to 1. Let's click save edit, and let's refresh this over here, and you can see right here that it changed the type number to 4 and the king beds to 1. Okay, and for the insert, let me stop debugging. For the insert record, I have a title for the form, the corresponding labels and text boxes to add a room with every field, a main menu button, an insert record button, and a clear button. The main menu button takes you back to the main menu. The insert record button takes you to insert the record, and the clear button clears all of the fields. In case, for example, the user starts inputting information and wants to clear it, they just click the clear button and they don't have to go back and erase everything. Let's go ahead and review this information real quick. The code. Here I'm declaring and assigning the connection string value to connect to the database. I am associating the connection string with the connection object, as I did with the other 3 forms. Here for the main menu button, same as all the other ones, form menu.show me.close to close the current window. Under button.add, I declare the variables that will be holding the user's inputted info. So I have a variable, just like in the edit form, I have a variable for every single one of the rows in the database. Here I'm using the try catch statement again for error handling. Right here, very similar to the edit form, I assign the text value of the text box into the variables I declared up here. I open the connection. Here I have a slightly different statement from the edit. Over here in the edit I had in, where is it, an update and then p room info statement to update the records in the database. Over here for insert, I have an insert into p room and then the values that follow. I open up the connection and I add the values in the variables to the appropriate columns. So just like in the other one, I have a CMD, but here's 1 instead of 2. So CMD1 dot parameters dot add, and it's room number in quotations, comma, DBL room number. Same goes for all the other fields. Once the data is saved to the database, I have it to clear all of the text box's text properties, and in the catch right here, I have it to show the same error. An error occurred when trying to add a new record. I finally close the connection and I set focus back to the room number. The rest of the code over here is for the menu items, and then the last one right here is for the clear button, which just like up here on the top it simply clears the text properties for all of the text boxes. You go ahead and start it. And let's go to add room. Let's type in a number, a number, a number, a number, type in a number. It's going to clear, so the clear button works. The insert, I did have trouble with this. It's one of the main things I had trouble with. With the edit form, I had a small difficulty with it. I kept getting that try catch error, the error that I input, and that was simply because of a typo. I fixed it and now the edit one works, but for the insert, let's input 42 or 41. Let's say type 5, total max people 10, queen beds, say 5 queen beds. Yes. Let's put 0, date next available, let's put 10, 16, available until, let's say the end of the month. When I click insert record, I get that catch error right here. An error occurred while attempting to add a new record. I've gone through the code so many times. I don't see any typos. I'm not sure what it can be, but that is the only form that I couldn't get to work. Some of the hardest things that I've had to overcome with this project is downloading and adding that reference. I had a lot of trouble with that, but I finally got it working. I had a bit difficulty choosing which tables I wanted to use. The design for all of these forms was fairly simple. I used the same color, the same text color, and all that for all of them. I did have trouble assigning the actual sizes to the forms. For all the forms, I'd select it and I'd type in the size down here by the property, and for some reason on my laptop, some forms would show, as they do right here, in a very small size, and others will be so big you can't even see the bottom of the form. But I fixed that by changing the auto scale mode property to DPI, and that seemed to fix that problem. But then after I changed that, that's when I got the, where is the search? That's when I got these labels coming out a different size from this text box. So that affected that, but overall the forms are still the same size. I was able to incorporate the try-catch handling error with no problem whatsoever. And the two forms, the edit and the insert, I ran into a small bump with the menus, but I got that all squared away. If there was anything I'd do differently, I'd probably put more thought into the structure of my tables, the design, what variables I put, what data types I use. Overall, I just be more aware of what tables I'm creating with what fields and try to structure it a little bit better. Other than that, the project was pretty easy for me to complete. It was very basic BB and all, just like I said with this insert record. For some reason, I'm not sure if there's a typo in there or something, but I can't get it to work. Another feature I wanted just to point out real quick before I end the video, let me go to design. I went ahead and used shortcut keys. Let me go ahead and run this so I can show you that it works. Over here you can see that the A is underlined under add room, so I click Alt A and it goes to add room. Alt M, it goes to main menu. Alt E to edit room. Alt M to go back to main menu. Alt X to exit. So I went ahead and also added those shortcut keys. Other than that, think that's it for me.